What's up, fam? This your interfaith minister, Nkantwi Fokwambe, the initiator of the Ministry of Spiritology and director of the Association for Cultural Awareness. Now, normally I try to do something like, the minister's Red Pill Diaries, but today, I just want to do a quick 5-minute segment, not specifically for the Red Pill Diaries, but, I want to just, come out and give a quick reflection in 5 minutes on something that happened in Cameroon that has really touched me, that I want everyone to get my word on it. Because, the situation with the Southern Cameroonians, Ambazonia resistance movement, seeking its restoration of independence of Southern Cameroons from La Republique de Cameroon, that situation is real. And it's getting real. I'm going to be honest. That's why I got to come out and put my own mouth. Like fella said, I put my mouth for song. Calacuta Republic. This is Nkantwi Fokwa Republic. I got to give a commentary on that because something touched me. An ex-fighter in the resistance movement, a guy named Nambere, he recently was interviewed on one of the television stations, Master Talk, and he was explaining how, like I just pointed out, he was an ex-combatant in the resistance movement and put down his weapons to start campaigning for peace. And I'm seeing BBC Mancho, his face is showing up on posters, they're talking about him too, he's talking about peace. But what really has struck my heart is that Nambere on TV had to point out that he got stopped by a gendarme military officer of some rank, and the officer told him, you've put down your weapons and stopped fighting, but you the Anglophones, why don't you go back and fight? You all started this war. Why are you all putting down your weapons? Why do you all want to stop fighting? And it's just like, this really hit me. And that's when I want to come and put my word on it, because I was also someone who originally, before this crisis got to the peak that it's gotten to, I was a part of the Federalist movement, or I would mostly like to refer to it as a reconciliation movement that was initiated as the Anglophone General Conference, or it was originally the ADF before Yaba Cho made his ADF, the Anglophone Dialogue Forum. And our intent was to try to be mediators under Dr. Simon Munza, who was one of the founders of the SCNC, who got licked by the Cameroon government, to try and find a peaceful, amicable way of solving this problem before it blew up into a full-blown armed conflict. And, I had that mentality that let me try and be somebody neutral and peaceable in all of this, and help it not escalate to a situation. And then I'm hearing now, this dude Nambere, he's coming out talking about how he was fully involved in the conflict, like shooting, you know what I'm saying? And then he decides finally to put his weapons down, and he's getting mocked by gendarmes. He's getting mocked by paramilitary. Gendarmes are paramilitary. Some of y'all don't understand. If you're not in, the Francophone French system, you won't even understand what a gendarme is. They're paramilitary. They're like people who are in between the police and the military. They wear basically military uniforms, green khaki fatigues and boots. And these guys are brutal, honestly. Not all of them. I got a couple of gendarmes that I was cool with back in the day when I was in Cameroon. But truthfully, those red cap guys, everyone knows they brutal, man. And they rude. And if they coming out talking like that, this is a ranking officer from what Nambere said in that interview. They called the names and everything. I didn't cram the name of the officer and all of that. But it just made me understand that, just like we've been seeing, the Francophones don't want this war to end. They're actually even exploiting the conflict to make money for themselves. Nijan Frundi even pointed out that some of these military officials are even sponsoring camps. They even implicated the name of Atanganji, the Minister of Territorial Administration, and he's even an Anglophone. So I just wanted to speak real on this to say something to y'all. You see? We have a serious situation and problem in Cameroon, and that's why the Anglophones are fighting. The English-speaking Cameroonians descendants of Southern Cameroons. That's why they're fighting. If a gendarme paramilitary officer can say that to an ex-combatant, then it means that they don't like us. Like Michael Jackson, all I want to really know, they don't really like us. And we just need to accept that and put that into real context and recognize the point. These people don't like us. Our joining them was like the fame man, he don't choppy mugu. You don't ever meet that same fame man where he go turn respect man where he don't choppy. It never happened. So my people, international community especially, because Cameroon was created out of a League of Nations mandate that became a UN trusteeship that then was violated with La République under Amadou Ahidjo in 1972, staging a referendum, which was an illegal referendum on May 20th, 1972, which violated a clause in the 1961 federal constitution, which said that the unity and integrity of the federal constitution should not be breached. So they were never supposed to even change Cameroon from being a federal republic, which would have protected the Francophones and Anglophones, keeping them separate so that they wouldn't be in this war that they're in already today. That's some potholes that I'm bouncing in East Legon. Let me just tell you that. But let me get back on point so that you get this. So I'm going to keep dropping some knowledge on it and come back on you. I don't want this clip to be too long, but I want you all to really reflect on this. You see, that's what we say in Cameroon when someone does something stupid that we had already warned them about, and then it happens. We say, you see. So Nambere, he just pointed out something that all Anglophones and in the international community, and even you Francophones, vous n'en regardez bien. You know what I'm saying? Let me bust into a little bit of French. You know what I'm saying? You see, tu ne viens pas, or what? You know what I'm saying? It's not something to laugh about, but it's the reality. Y'all Francophones, y'all don't want to be living with the Anglophones. That's just the truth of it. And the whole coming together was all about just exploiting our section of the country. Everything we've ever had to do when we lived in an Anglophone country was get educated and then go to the Francophone section to try to survive. Because our side of the country was completely shut down, industries, business, everything. And gradually they were squeezing our necks so that we should start speaking their English. So that we should stop speaking English and integrate speaking their French. They were going to shut us down. And that's why this war started. So I'm pleading now, the international community, you all have to recognize this. We have a situation in that country. You all need to stop pretending like this thing is just going to go away and we can reconcile and live with these people. I wish we could live with the Francophones. Est-ce que j'ai un problème avec le français? I try and even speak the French a little bit. How many of these Francophones will try and speak English though? We're just despised. So we need to start looking at this thing realistically. The Ambazonia movement, trying to restore Southern Cameroon's independence, has a relevant precedent for what they are trying to do. A historical and legal and internationally legal precedent in the context of the violation of that constitution. Why the white man who set up this colony is not coming in to represent the law and respect that and recognize that he created this country under a trusteeship and just rationally used the United Nations, which formed that country and failed with supervision of Britain and France implementing the union that was supposed to be established. Why don't they just come and make this thing a peaceful separation? Why don't they just send the peacekeeping forces in? Why are they waiting on a UN Security Council resolution, which would need a lot of bloodshed and murder and killing of millions before they'll come in there and stop a situation that's already bubbling and shows that it's about to blow? Why do they want to see another Biafra in Cameroon when this is just something clear, litigation, and then they see that Ahidjo cheated? It was chicanery, if we want to speak of it nicely and use a legal term, chicanery. They need to separate it. Truthfully, back in the day, there was this rock band, Offspring. You gotta keep them separated. You know what I'm saying? You gotta keep them separated. You gotta separate these two countries. Separate them, or it's gonna get bad. It's getting bad. It's terrible already. It's gonna get worse. It's a brutal, nasty situation. A lot of us have ran away from Cameroon. I'm laying low in Accra. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do one or two things and put myself together and wait for everything to blow over and hopefully maybe I can go home. But I can't go home because it's not safe. It's just not safe, truthfully. They kidnapped all my mates. Mimi Mefo had to get out. Hanson for Chinese, these are my colleagues from Equinox, and Bay Macmillan. We were running together every day, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like, yo, Dr. Simon Moonza, they threatened him. Cardinal Toomey, who they put on top of AGC, they threatened him. Everyone in my entourage got either threatened or kidnapped or beaten up. You know, we got people dead. I got cousins and brothers locked up in Boya prisons and stuff for claiming they don't have ID. I mean, Cameroon is not a place that if you're someone with a certain level of interaction and is noticed you can be. So I had to step out and find me a place nearby because, in the Pan-African spirit, I didn't want to run to the white man's country immediately, but I wanted to, get some knowledge up in Accra, Ghana about what the whole independent structuring of Africa evolved from. And it's made me learn a lot and understand a lot about the situation even in Cameroon. So that I feel I can really speak competently as not necessarily a young man, but a young man who's matured into a rational man who can speak on behalf of my people. So I'm gonna hope you all are gonna get this video. I'm not gonna make this too long, but I'm gonna say it again. That's the third time I'm gonna say it. You see? I hope y'all see what's going on. They don't really love us. They don't really care about us. They don't want peace. A lot of the military Francophones, they're even using this whole crisis to get paid. There's a military budget running from the defense ministry that some colonels are gonna love to keep exploiting. So they're gonna even make their own fake Ambazonia camps and have fake rebel movements mixed with military, working with some other maybe unscrupulous Anglophones doing their thing all over the place. It's crazy. Like I said, even John had to point that out. So I'm just trying to be real with you all. I want to be real with you all, literally. I want to really be real with you all. Y'all need to see that situation. Tabor Nagy, wherever you at, all of y'all in the national community, all those diplomats who are commenting on the situation, y'all need to pay attention to that situation in Cameroon. These Francophones are going to exploit this thing and they don't care. So if you all are thinking that there's going to be mediation in one way or another to reconcile the two countries back into some type of Cameroonians indivisible, as Mr. Bia keeps saying, you know what I'm saying, Fractor Bia, that discussion isn't all going to work if you can't keep your wild dogs in check, and you can't. You know what Ahijo did. You know the game plan. You know that the French assimilation strategy is all about just swallowing African states. So, I don't know. I read the CPDM Constitution back in the day claiming something about Pan-Africanism, but I don't feel that in the way that Mr. Bia represents his presidency, nor the way the CPDM and the Cameroon government operates. So, if there's no Pan-African structuring even in the country to try and evolve towards African consciousness, then the whole situation is shot, because it means that in any unified form, Cameroon would always be oppressed. You know what I'm saying? Ghana's a little bit better because of the indirect rule system of the British and any English or former British colony that was in the African continent. You see that it's doing much better than the Francophone or the French former colonies. So that's what Ambazonia wants to see happen. They want to see a pure English-speaking state, even though it's not our natural native language, so that we can handle our administration and have a better situation to preserve our culture and our tribal traditions and allow ourselves evolve like maybe some of these other African countries, which didn't have to go through that assimilation strategy of France went through. So that's a lot of history, that's a lot of knowledge to drop in. I just want to get this all in clear context. I said 5 minutes, has gone up to 15. This wasn't for the Red Pill Diaries, this was just a message from the minister. I want you all to go ahead and get that and get it again. You see, I hope you really see what's going on. We have a situation and a problem in Cameroon, and they don't really like us, and they're never gonna like us unless Mr. Bia is gonna come out with some real bilingual reform, some real recognition of the fact that we were an autonomous state, and we are an autonomous state. That special status that he came up with is not gonna do it, because we need our autonomy, we need our own prime minister, we need our own situation of governance, we need our parliament restored, we need the House of Chiefs restored, we need the rights to be able to set up our own importation strategies, to develop our own side of the country without having to go through the Douala port. We're supposed to be able to use, the deep sea port down in Limbe, where there are a lot of things that we were supposed to be doing on our own, that we wouldn't even be mixing with these Francophone people and getting into this conflict before it's gotten to this point that got spoiled because they violated that constitution, and that's law. So let's stop putting our heads in the ground like the ostrich. The ostrich feather was worn on the cap back in ancient Kemet in Egypt by those who were the nobles of Mahat to represent that they were just. And we have Bannerman's Turako feather in the Ngemba clan of Bafut, which is my tribe. We still put a red feather in the head in the cap of a noble, representing that he's just and righteous. You know what I'm saying? I went and got 5th class and did my FAMI, and my fund gave me the title of Nkatla, so I can come out to the rest of Africa and represent that I am the light of the land, because Nka is the light of the land. Nka is light, La is land in Bafut. So I'm just doing my job and doing what I'm expected to do. I hope you all got that message. I hope you all recognize that the situation in Cameroon is bleak. It's not going to get better. Nambere said it. These Francophones hate on us, even the paramilitary. They're like, why didn't you just keep fighting? So that fight's gonna keep going, not because I said it, but because the French people said it. Peace profound. Y'all reflect on that. I'm out.